What's up, guys? Back with another video for the channel. It's been a little while. Going to be doing a updated DD5 list for 2023. We're going to be covering city, global, cosmic, and legendary nodes. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, before we actually get started, I want to talk about some of the actual teams that are required for Apocalypse. So we're going to go up here and we're going to actually look at all the Scourges, and we're going to pick out some of the city characters that are actually going to be needed for some of these Scourges. So we're going to start with the Pestilence Scourge. We have basically Web Warriors and we have Dark Hunters. So of the 5 Web Warriors and the Dark Hunters that are on here, there's only a handful of them that are actually city and viable. Obviously, the entire roster of Web Warriors are going to be viable for DD5 city nodes, but the 2 characters that I, in particular, are going to be Ghost Spider and Scarlet Spider. Those are the 2 that you're going to want to bring up. They have incredible synergy together. They work really well off each other's kits. They apply ability blocks. They can spread debuffs, things like that. So those are the 2 from the Pestilence Scourge. We're going to move on to the Famine Scourge, which is required for Rogue. So on here, we have Young Avengers, we have the Inhumans, and we have A-Force with, well, I guess Miles is A-Force as well. So we have A-Force. So all of these characters, Spider-Woman is city, so is Miles, and I don't think there's any city characters in the Inhumans, but the 2 characters, well, actually, really, it's just 1 character with an honorable mention. So mainly Squirrel Girl. She's probably the best city character of these 15 here that are on this that are part of this particular Scourge. Squirrel Girl is amazing. She has low cooldowns. She can cleanse your entire team. If you throw healer on her, she's really good for sustain throughout those nodes. And she can also apply offense down to the entire enemies, which is actually super underrated when you're talking about DD5, because you think, you're dealing with multiple waves and waves of enemies, and you're only 5. You can only bring in 5 characters. So when you consider that fact, putting offense down is super valuable, and a lot of people don't really value it as much as they should. All right, on to the next one. War Scourge, which is required for Red Hulk. So you have three different teams. You got the Ravagers, you got Asgardians, and you have Wave 1 Avengers. So from here, actually, there's no city characters. I don't think there are. There's nothing. None of these actual characters made my particular list. However, for the Red Hulk team, you are going to need Gamma. So for Gamma, the character that I actually put on my list was She-Hulk. So She-Hulk is going to be somebody that you're going to have to build up eventually. So you might as well just invest the resources into her and bring her in. She's got a pretty good kit. She can cleanse. She can stun. She does a decent amount of damage, and someone that you definitely want to consider, just because she's required for the Gamma team in general. So those are my 5 characters. I did have an honorable mention, and that honorable mention is actually Kingpin. So here are the 5 characters that I just talked about, and I went over and I showed you guys that chart because I want to prioritize this list based on not only how good they're going to be for you in DD4 and DD5, but also the value that they're going to hold long term. So we talked about Squirrel Girl, we talked about Scarlet and Ghost Spider as a duo. We talked about She-Hulk and how she's important for the Gamma team. There's 2 characters that weren't part of the Scourges that aren't really required for Apocalypse, and those 2 characters are Shang-Chi and Kingpin. Kingpin is kind of an honorable mention, I'll be totally honest. Kingpin is good for an Underworld team, which is a war offense, or just a war team in general. You can put them on offense or defense, they're still really good. Kingpin is just good because he can apply, he can summon some bodyguards which have taunt, so that actually takes away some of the aggression, some of the aggro from the enemies, so that's really good. And his ultimate is actually really good. It's going to give offense up and defense up for 2 turns. It just has, it's a 4-turn cooldown. It's not terrible, but he's not the fastest character. And then my last, well, this is the character, this should be your 5th, I'll be totally honest. Shang-Chi is an incredible character. He was made for game modes like this. He has really low cooldowns. His ultimate is on a 3-turn cooldown, and it does massive damage. And it hits everybody, and it rewinds turn meter, which is huge. And he also has some sustain in his kit for himself. So he can clear negative effects from himself and some allies, and he can heal himself for a nice chunk amount. So if this guy's low health and you have his special up, you pop his special and he can actually heal himself to full health. So that's really all that needs to be said about Shang. He's a powerhouse. Definitely bring him in, and he's farmable. So that's also one thing that I probably should have mentioned in the beginning. So all these characters are either farmable in some kind of way. They either have a node, or they're going to be available in some kind of store. So that's also another thing that is a requirement to be on this list. So this list is very player friendly. So if you're free to play, you should be able to get all 5 of these characters, or 6 of these characters if you want to bring in, all 6 of them to G16. You should be able to get all these characters up to par and where they need to be without having to spend a dime, as long as you're playing every single day and you're farming what you need to do. So if you're not sure how to farm, just go ahead and click on the character, hit find, scroll over, and you should be able to see either like them being in blitz supplies, or they're going to have a node. So Shang-Chi is one of the most accessible characters now. Back then he wasn't, but now he's actually available in the blitz store, and he's got his own node. So that's how you find out how to farm particular characters if you're brand new and you're not really sure how the game works. But if you're a veteran, or you're just coming back to the game and you're not sure who you should invest into that's going to hold value long term, these are the 6 that I picked. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at global. So global actually has probably the most options of any of the other traits in DD5. So you actually have a couple different ways that you can go here. It really just depends on when you started playing the game, right? So if you're an OG player and you have a lot of stars on, say, a character like Hulk, and you have some decent red stars on him as well, Hulk is not a bad option. So I'm just going to explain the reasoning why some of these characters are on the list. So Hulk, Wong, Gambit, Spider-Weaver, and Scarlet Witch, obviously they're at the top of the list just because they're required for Apocalypse. All 5 of these characters belong on either some sort of Horseman team, or they're just required in general. So Spider-Weaver being the only exception of her not being in a Horseman team. However, she is an original character, and she is required to unlock Apocalypse eventually. So their standalone kits by themselves are all fantastic. So as characters standalone, they're actually really, really good, and they have really good kits. They scale really well with gear. So that's the reason why they're on their list. The bottom 5 that I have here is actually my global roster that I took into DD5 the first time around. Obviously, Sharon's not G16, but she's definitely a candidate for G16. So if you want to go this route, if you want to go the Secret Avengers route, where the main focal point being Captain Sam, you want to get Captain Sam as big as you possibly can. It just, again, this is really dependent on where your roster is. So if you're kind of a mid sort of game player and you have the characters that I have listed, so Witch, Spider-Weaver, Gambit, Wong, and Hulk, those might be your 5 that you're going to want to take in, because if you have a decent amount of stars in them, I know Wong is farmable. Gambit is actually available in the Crucible store. I'm not sure when you started playing, but they gave away 7 stars for Spider-Weaver for absolutely free. So if you got to play when that happened, then she's definitely somebody you want to bring up, because her kit is fantastic. Hulk is an OG, and Scarlet Witch, she's been around since the beginning of the game. So she's farmable in a couple places, so she's not super hard to get up. But the bottom 5, I threw Doom on the list because Doom is obviously an amazing character. He's still probably a top 10 character in the game, even though he was a DD4 reward. So he's still really, really good. So the bottom 5 are actually a really, really strong team in global. You'll be able to get through it pretty easily. Maria Hill provides sustain that you need. She has a heal on her ultimate. Sharon Carter provides a ton of damage, and she has some utility as well. She can stun and apply ability blocks. Doom just does Doom things. He blows people up, and he can he could essentially revive one of your characters, but not really revive, but you basically can heal one of your max damage character to full health. Lady Deathstrike is really good because she has pretty low cooldowns, and she's got a turn rewind, she's got offense up, she's got a lot of bleed, she just does a lot of damage, right? And Captain Sam is obviously your tank. He's your protector. He's going to be able to speed up your team, and he's going to be able to apply taunt and deflex and all a bunch of other fun stuff. So these are the 10 characters that I chose. You can kind of mix and match them however you want. Again, it's all really roster dependent, so do with it what you will. Okay, so moving on to Cosmic. Again, this list is going to be a little bit more roster dependent as well. Most of these characters are pretty old, so you may or may not have a decent amount of star levels on them. But again, if you're not sure, this list is literally just to help you kind of give you an idea of what the end game looks like and what characters are actually going to hold value in the end game, right? So the first character on this list, I have him, hearted and favorited is King the Conqueror. So he's probably one of, if not the top character in the game. I mean, I think Red Hulk is probably the best character in the game, but this guy's kit is absolutely bonkers and it's completely insane. And I think he's going to be a staple character, kind of like Kestrel was, kind of like Silver Surfer was when they came out. I think he's completely game-changing, meta-changing, and even when Apocalypse comes out, I still think people are going to be using this guy for a very long time. So yeah, I know the event's going on right now, so if you guys are able to get him free or through offers or whatever, definitely consider King as one of your options for Cosmic. Onto the actual list. So King is really more of like an honorable mention, right? Onto the actual list, we got Kestrel, Icarus, Strange Heartless, Cersei, Deathpool. Really, those should be like your top 5. So you want to take the Eternals, Heartless, Deathpool, and Kestrel. So those will be your main 5. Some honorable mentions would be Phyla, Star-Lord, T'Challa, and Stitcher. T'Challa and Stitcher, they're both Ravagers. They have that Ravager tag. Stitcher is an incredible toon. He's still really good in my opinion. You're going to need him for the minions. Stitcher's still a really good toon. He's a minion, so you actually need him for the Death Scourge. He basically carries your entire team for the Death Scourge. And what makes him really good is he got a really low cooldown on his special, and does percentage health. So one thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about Dark Dimension teams and you're reading kits and stuff is any kit that does damage and it steals percentage health or it can deal percentage health is way more valuable than anything that can do, like, I don't know, like let's say 220% or has some sort of percentage. If it's percentage health based, it's going to do a lot more because the health pools of characters in Dark Dimension are a lot higher. So that percentage health steal is actually going to go a long way. Plus, it's also a heal, so it's going to heal the lowest health allies. So Stitcher's really good. You pair him up with T'Challa, they just get even better. So it's kind of like that duo of Scarlet Spider with Ghost Spider. They really do work better together, but they're also really good as standalone. So if you don't have enough tech gear and you can only bring in one, I would suggest Stitcher because of the heal, but T'Challa is also really, really strong, and they are both farmable. Phyla, if you have that extra bio gear, so that's kind of like something that I ran into is that I had a lot of extra bio gear because a lot of the cosmic characters, they require a lot of mystic gear. So like Cersei and Icarus and Deathpool, they're all mystic, and Heartless is all mystic. So if you're crunching for mystic and you're not sure, who else to bring up, Phyla is a really good choice. She's needed for Infinity Watch, which is still a really good team, and she just does a lot of damage. She has a cleanse on her too. She has offense down and offense up for your team on her ultimate, and her overall just base health, base damage is still one of the highest in the game. I think she's still one of the top 10 highest damage characters in the entire game. So she's still really good for that. But if really we're focusing on the core 5, you got Kestrel being Kestrel. She's an incredible character. They're going to be doing an event campaign for her very soon. So if you don't have her, don't worry. But most people should have Kestrel. The Eternals, I don't really have to, talk about why the Eternals are great. They're just fantastic as a duo. Strange Heartless, mainly because he belongs to the Darkhold team, which is required for Apocalypse. But as a standalone character, I think he's incredible. He's got the highest crit damage and crit percentage in the game, so he does really well, especially when you put red stars on him. And then Deathpool is kind of like the last member, so this should be like the last of the 5 if you're not sure who to take. So if you're looking for those top 4, definitely consider Kestrel, the Eternals, and Heartless. And then as a 5th, you can literally choose any of these other 5 that I have listed. So you can go with Deathpool if you have that extra mystic gear, Phyla, T'Challa, Stitcher, or King. So do with that list what you will. They're all super good. Last but not least, we have the legendaries. Last but not least, we have the legendary nodes. My obvious choices are going to be the four horsemen. So you have Morgan Le Fay, Red Hulk, Archangel, and Rogue. So those are my four obvious choices just because all four of them are needed for Apocalypse. So if you're looking to play for the end game and you're looking for characters that hold value and just have incredible kits by themselves and work really well with their teams. All right, so a couple honorable mentions and a couple options for the fifth character that you might want to bring into that team. You have Shuri, Omega Red, and Magneto. So before any of the Horsemen came out, Omega Red was the MVP for those legendary nodes. He can single-handedly carry those nodes for you. What makes him so good is the percentage health that I was telling you guys about. So he has percentage health steal on his basic. He also has it on his special. And I believe he even has it on his ultimate. Like, this dude literally shreds any character with like tons of health. So just keep that in mind. His abilities also do a lot of stuff. They apply trauma, ability blocks. He can flip positive effects. The guy is a complete beast. So consider bringing Omega Red as your fifth. And then the two other options, you have Shuri. Shuri is just really good. She's able to keep your team alive. She can apply defense ups, heal your team, blah, blah, blah. And then we also have our last character, which is Magneto, that's on this list. Magneto, just because he is required for Apocalypse. He belongs to the Death Sea team, and he's just a badass character. Need I say more? So there you guys have it. Those are my options for Legendary. Again, it's all roster dependent. Do with that what you will. If you don't have the Horseman, other options that I would recommend for you if you do not have any of the Horsemen. Jubilee is a really good character. Phoenix is a little bit power crept, but could still be really good because of her ultimate and just what she does. Ebony Maw, I know people are gonna laugh because I'm talking about Ebony Maw, and he's old and he might not be very good because Black Order kind of sucks. But at one point in time, Ebony Maw was actually one of my favorite legendaries. He's got a really good kit, actually. He can apply defense ups. He can apply offense downs, and we talked about that. He also has a percentage health steal on his ultimate, which actually heals your team as well. So Ebony Maw is a bit of a sleeper pick. But if you want something a little bit better that might hold value, you might want to consider some of the other tunes that we have that I talked about. But if you don't, like I said, if you don't have the Horseman, Jubilee, Ebony Maw, and even Invisible Woman or Nick Fury are not bad options. So just keep that in mind. Iron Man can be really good. He belongs to the Tech Raid team, to Bionic Avengers, but I don't think he provides as much value to the team as somebody like Jubilee or Ebony Maw would, or even Invisible Woman. So there you go. Do with that list what you guys will. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe. I'm going to be talking about more helpful guides to help you guys, really want to make content that caters more towards like mid to end game players. I'm an end game player. I'm going to get Apocalypse, and I want you guys to get a glimpse as to what that, a roster like that looks like, and what, is going to actually hold value for you guys in the long run. So if you guys did enjoy that, yeah, you know what to do. Peace. Girls with their nails done.